What's up, everybody? Take a walk, man. Take a walk and talk about a little bit of this foolishness, man. Look, I don't understand. What's the matter with boxing fans sometimes? A simple thing with this whole Jermell Charlo, Brian Castano situation. I don't mind saying a fighter's ducking if he's ducking. If he's ducking, he's ducking. If the fighter's ducking, okay. He's ducking, no big deal. But we got to be reasonable about this. One thing we know about the IBF, right, is that they'll strip you. The IBF will strip you. The IBF doesn't care what status boxer you are, right? Anthony Joshua, Canelo Alvarez, they've been threatened. Canelo Alvarez was actually stripped by the IBF. A lot of these fighters have been threatened to be stripped by the IBF, and they'll go forward with it. So your status, the stock and boxing doesn't really matter much when it comes to the IBF and them stripping a fighter. Furthermore, Jermell Charlo and Brian Castano already shared the ring with each other. He said immediately after the fight, one thing that I like about Jermell Charlo after this fight, in comparison to Tony Harrison when he lost that fight, in this fight, Jermell Charlo actually, he accepted his loss. Well, not loss, but he accepted the challenge. He accepted the fact that he didn't do enough to win that fight convincingly. With the Tony Harrison situation, the blame game, he was in denial. He wasn't accepting the fact that he didn't do enough to win that fight convincingly. He couldn't accept it. But, maybe it could have something to do with him still holding on to those trinkets. Even still, Jermell Charlo knows that he needs to improve going into that next fight. He also understands that Brian Castano is a formidable opponent, which I knew that going in. I said that this would be his toughest fight of his career, and that proved to be so. Tony Harrison, I don't think Tony Harrison was a tougher fight than Brian Castano. In the second fight with Brian Castano is going to be tough as well. Tony Harrison had greater dimensions than Brian Castano, which is part of the reason, Jermell Charlo had the difficulty. Tony Harrison can box as well. However, back to the ducking part of this. You cannot duck if the sanctioning body's forcing a mandatory. That makes no sense. We got to stop this as boxing fans with a reason to dump on the fighter. It doesn't matter if you like the guy or you don't like the guy. As boxing fans, it seems like we tend to find a reason to dump on the fighter. Ain't no reason to dump on this fighter. He actually said that he wanted to fight Brian Castano again, interestingly enough. It's not a duck. It's not a duck. And if he has to go fight, what is it? Murtazaliev, I think Bakhram, Murtazaliev. If he has to fight him, if this is who the IBF ordered, which I don't know where they get this guy from, but it's got to be some type of sense in it. But if this is who they've ordered for Jermell Charlo to fight, go fight the man. Get back in the ring with Brian Castano. That's what the fans want. I think that fight definitely deserves a rematch. But I just wanted to share that thought. It's not a duck, man. It can't be a duck. The guy already fought him. He already said he was willing to fight him. It was the IBF that stepped in and said otherwise. It wasn't Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo was ready to run it back. He'll run it back. Why not? Will this be beneficial for Jermell Charlo? I believe so, but, people say Jermell Charlo stalling for time. Well, Brian Castano didn't stop Jermell Charlo either. He didn't do enough to take it out of the judges' hands either. And Brian Castano is a damn good fighter, so this is also beneficial to Brian Castano. because he'll also have more time to train more in depth for Jermell Charlo. So we'll just have to see. Hopefully this rematch goes down after this Bakhram Murtazaliev fight, Murtazaliev. Uh, hopefully we'll get Jermell Charlo and Brian Castano back in the ring again. We shall have to see. Just wanted to drop that on y'all. And y'all know how I always did in this thing. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. Peace.